How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Moving on from Deep Red, we go on to, which is undoubtedly Argento's most popular film of his career, especially to people people who aren't into Italian horror at all, or even just casual horror fans for the most part, have heard of Suspiria. Or even if they're into horror but not Italian horror, they've most likely seen it or had a friend tell them to see it. Like, that's how big this film blew up after he made this movie. And I said in one of the videos that it's not my favorite Argento film, but there's a difference between like a favorite and what you think is the best. And I think this is Argento's best film. Like 100%. It is so creatively stylistic and just the colors, man. I mean, like if we'd be here all night if I had to like talk about every single shot of this movie. And during my video for The Thing, which it was killing me, man, like for weeks after I started this channel, to finally cover The Thing, and I was fighting against it because at first I didn't want to like dive into like big horror movies, like the big ones like that, and Halloween and The Exorcist and Psycho and The Omen, on and on and on. So I stuck to like other little favorites of mine that I love, 80s slashers and some popular movies, but not the little like Leviathans. And just being able to watch this guy, the way he does everything is fucking perfect in this movie. And I said during that video for The Thing that you will not hear me say the words perfect referring to a movie many times on this channel. Like maybe the amount of time, like fingers I have on my hand. That's probably it. The Thing is one of them. This movie is perfect in every single way. Like this, like I said, not my favorite Argento film, but absolutely his best, in my opinion. Like, of course it's my opinion, it's my channel. I'm gonna stop saying that. I keep saying I am gonna stop, and I keep saying it for some reason. It's my subconscious trying to be polite to you people, even though, I'm weary on half of you or so. But first thing, got to talk about 1977. This actually, 2 days ago, was the 45th anniversary of Suspiria debuting in the United States, which would have been great if my plans didn't get all fucked up, that I could have done it on Friday and do it right on the anniversary. But same thing happened with The Thing. Like, it was around the 40th anniversary when I did my video for that. So it was weird how I keep fucking missing them. And Evil Dead, too, was like right after Bruce Campbell's birthday. And I just retroactively said that that's why I did it. Like, apologies if you can hear a little bit of the fan, because this thing right here, it is so hot in this room. Like, it's just a naturally hot room. And then add like lighting and stuff. Whew. And as soon as I sat down, I thought I was gonna die. I said, there's no way I'm gonna be able to talk about this movie for a while without like some type of air, like moving air on my body, because it is so hot. So I did a test little video and I barely could hear it. So if it's there, apologies, but I'm not dying for you guys. At least not at this point. Too early in this channel for me to tell whether I'd make a sacrifice for my followers or anything. But first thing we got to talk about, like I usually start all of these films, videos so far with Argento, is the score. We have Goblin coming back after Deep Red, and we'll continue on, not in Inferno, curiously, which I love that, because Keith Emerson, like, I'm a huge progressive rock fan. Yes, Genesis, Rush, Jethro Tull, like all of those bands from the 70s. And ELP is amazing. So just having Emerson do the score, I love that score so much. But Goblin's second score time here with Argento, and Argento did write a little bit of the score also. I don't know how much, they never elaborate on that if you try looking it up. But it is fucking unreal. The score to this movie is so good. I'd argue that it's one of the most recognizable horror themes in history of the genre. Like, take Halloween. Everybody knows the opening notes in their theme to Halloween. Everyone, even people who have never seen it for some reason, or like people who live in caves and come out every once in a while to shop, those motherfuckers know it too. Like, everyone knows the theme to Halloween. And The Exorcist, Tubular Bells, like, everybody knows that theme. This I put right up there with iconic, like the most iconic themes or scores in a horror film. Like, absolutely. Even if they don't know where it's from. Like, even if they don't know it's from Suspiria, if they don't know it's an Italian horror film, if they don't know if it's Argento, or have never heard of Dario Argento, they'll still recognize this theme. It's been sampled in music. It's been in trailers for other movies. Like, since then, it's been all over the place, and it is just brilliant, man. As a musician, I say on here a lot. You know, I'm a musician for a long time. It blows me away every time that main theme kicks in this movie, like every single time. Because you can argue, and to an extent, that the score isn't too like diverse in this movie. Like, it's mostly just that main theme, and then we have like the more like tribal sound stuff, like when some other intense scenes are happening. That's pretty much it. Like, there's not a whole bunch of different motifs and stuff to the score in this movie, and there doesn't have to be, because just that theme alone carries the music and the score and the feel of this movie and the atmosphere and the tone of it just 100%. Like, it's absolutely perfect. And you know, even with, under the bells of the melody with the witches, like the chanting and stuff, such a cool touch, man. Like, in a movie about witches that you don't even really know the first time you see this until like more than halfway through, is about witches, but they have those chants, man. Awesome. It sounds so good. It sounds so beautiful but creepy at the same time. I can't say enough about this score. And I will also go off and say and make a bold claim. I don't think it's too bold, but this is his most visually stunning film, and one of the most visually beautiful, stunning films ever, in my opinion. Again, see, I can't not say motherfuckers do. Absolutely, though. Like, just the way this movie looks, and the lighting, and the colors, and like, because he's known for most of his career since the mid-70s or so for his lighting and colors and stuff. But this is the movie that this shit really started in. Like I said in Deep Red, like, you can see it a little bit, but nowhere. Like, not even the same galaxy as Suspiria. You can even in his first 3 films, he has like those repeating wallpapers and stuff, and a lot of that trippy patterns and stuff. That's another little staple of his. Excuse me. Which is also amazing. And he kept up with that as his career went on also. But this was the movie that just brought the lighting and the color usage and everything just to a complete level that nobody has ever seen before at that point. And I don't think anyone's ever captured it since. Like, this is just such an iconic movie. And it's already fucking 9 minutes. Let's talk about the movie. This is gonna be a little long, this one, guys. So strap in. It took like 4 pages of notes. And I watched it, and then I was going to do the video yesterday, like I planned. So anytime, take this rule of thumb. Anytime I have a plan of any sort, for like, all right, I'll try to have this video up by the night, or then this one, these 2 up the next day, stuff. General rule, always add a contingency like 12 to 24 hours to that, whatever I say it's gonna happen. Because I actually watched this twice yesterday, because I haven't seen Suspiria in a few years. And I mean, every time I see it, it's just an orgasm for the senses, your eyes, and just everything. But I was just so engrossed in it. Maybe it was just because I'm now like discussing these movies and analyzing them and everything. But I was just blown away, like every single time I've seen this movie, like the very first time. And I was getting tired and stuff, so I said, fuck it, throw it on again, because I'm not going to I'm not going to be able to record. I'm too tired. And I watched it again and then fell asleep like right after that. But one of the rare occasions that I rewatch a movie that, especially when I've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of times, right after I just saw it. Like, that's completely strange to me, but that's how amazing this film is. At the opening narration, I get why it's there. It's one of the few little things in this movie that makes me roll my eyes, which is very few in this movie. But I don't know, it just sounds out of place, and it's because it's dubbed. I mean, most of this movie is dubbed. Like, even Jessica Harper's, like, most of her lines and everything was ADR after the fact. And other English-speaking actors and actresses that were on the set and everything like that. So for a movie that's mostly ADR recording and stuff, like in post, it still sounds great. Like, it's not like grating, it's not bothersome, it's not like so obvious. But like, I mean, so many Italian films are dubbed in English, but like compared to those, it doesn't sound so distinctly obvious that it takes you out of the film. Like, it's so good. But the narration in the Italian version was by Argento. And I've seen the Italian version with English subtitles like years ago, and it sounds so much less out of place, for sure. So like, I know why it's out of place for me. But I can see people, and I've heard people argue that and say, like, it's such an amazing film, but like, I don't like the narration in the beginning. Like, we could have figured out why Susie's, what she's doing and where she's going and all that. But it makes a lot more sense if you know that it was Argento himself doing the narration in the Italian version, and then they had some guy overdub in English. But that's such a small gripe, man, for this movie. Come on, really? And then just the whole scene with Susie walking through the airport. And this movie is just like fucking Alice in Wonderland, like Snow White. Like, Daria Nicolodi co-wrote the screenplay with Argento. And Argento has said that he handled more like the suspense and like what he's best at. And then she loved her like fairy tales and like folklore stories and stuff like that. So she thought of, comparing it to those types of movies, of Snow White. And I mean, Jessica Harper looks straight up like Snow White in some of the shots in this movie, like absolutely. But like, this is her like going down the rabbit hole. As soon as her exiting the airport and getting in the cab. And just the way it's shot, man, and just in the theme when she's walking before she gets to the cab, how it's playing, and then it'll stop. And she starts and she's still walking, and then it'll start up again and stop again. Like, so good. Like, that was so clever. Instead of just having it play throughout the whole scene, to have it stop and start like that, like, really cool stuff. And it's the most beautiful cab ride in a film ever, in my opinion. I mean, there's a great one in Inferno, but I mean, think of another cab ride scene that is that engrossing and beautiful to look at in a film. I'll wait. I'm not going to wait. This is going to be long anyway. But put it in the comments if you can think of a better cab scene. I can't think of a good cab scene, really, like, besides this and the one I mentioned before that one, Inferno. Like, in a movie, off the top of my head. Just watching someone in the back of a cab, I can't think of a phenomenal, like, version of that. But if you do, let me know, because I definitely like to know, man, if that exists. And then just the atmosphere of this movie, man, just with the thunder and pouring rain and when she gets in the cab and the lighting all over while they're driving, and then seeing Pat, her name's Pat, right? It's so hard to remember these people's fucking names. Yeah, I think it's Pat. When they see her, she just sees her running through the woods while the cab's on the way to the studio and everything. Awesome stuff. And then that whole building, yeah, it is Pat. That I thought so. I don't know why I double fucking guessed myself. The whole building that Pat's friend lives in, at the whole like opening scene, besides like, with Susie in the cab and stuff, is so gorgeous. I don't know how he gets so fucking lucky. Like, honestly, like, I don't know how much of his films are sets that are built. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of sets in this one because, like, especially at the end when she's climbing down the stairs to get out, you can clearly tell it looks like a set. Like that's one little shot in this movie. It's like, yeah, that's a set. Like immediately, but the color and everything and the lighting like trumps that. But like, I wonder how much of his movies are on location shots, because even if it's like a quarter of all his films, he's the luckiest motherfucker in the universe to get all the beautiful architecture and patterns and colors and art and just all of that by seeking out like random locations to shoot at. Dude, that is so that is so fucking lucky, and that is so rare, and takes such an eye for just what can look beautiful against a horrifying concept happening in front of you or a scenario. That he's just such a master, man. I'm like, can't say enough about Argento, as I will keep as the rest of the month going on. But man, in general, amazing. Just like everything in that place, like the walls, the elevator, this colored skylight, like fucking everything. The wallpaper in the room, the friend's room, which harkens back to what I was saying with Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and not the Cat o' Nine Tails with the patterned wallpaper and everything. So it's still here. It's just the color is here also now. So now you got two distinct visuals that he uses to such a masterful degree. Like so artistic, so creatively brilliant. Oh God, I can't say enough. The whole beginning scene here, one of my favorite scenes ever. Like ever. Like not even just horror, just ever made. Any type of film. Just the tension and the feel that this scene has, and just the look of it and the color and the shots of the building, like the I don't know if it's wallpaper, the walls and stuff on the inside, and the kill, like, oh God, just the eyes in the window, that like even that is really suspenseful. Like when she's just walking up slow to the window and she holds the lamp up to try to get light to see outside, which I don't know why she think that, because then you get like more like reflection into your eyes, I would think. I don't know. But then you see like the two eyes just come out of the darkness and just reaches through the window and grabs her. And the way it's I'm just going to say it, because I'll get to that later. But I don't know what the fuck this thing is or supposed to be. And like a few other instances in this movie I'll get to in a little bit. But just the way it pulls her face against the glass, and then you just have that hardcore blue lighting, but her face is getting smushed into that glass. Like something about that shot is fucking like unsettling, man. Like it really is. Like it looks like she's about to die. The actress, it looks like she's about to suffocate against the glass. Like it's so creepy looking, and just her friend saying, "Help me! There's a murderer! Help me!" and banging all over the place. That adds so much to the scene too. Just having her friend frantically running, banging on doors for help. That's such an awesome little tiny inclusion that adds a lot for me for that scene. Then when she's stabbed with the lighting and it's blue, and then when she gets stabbed for the first time, it changes to red. Just the way that he uses them, the colors, the lighting, to convey different emotions and scenarios, and just it's really like almost to a science. Like I was rewatching it after the rewatch last night, I was just thinking all about that. I was like, man, there's got to be a fucking course somewhere that teaches you Argento's lighting techniques for filmmaking, because it's just absolutely brilliant. Nobody like him, like in that department. Like there are others who utilize lighting and color and stuff like to an amazing degree, of course, but no one like Argento, man. I mean, look at Bava. Bava was pretty good with that too. I mean, it was a little, not in his most, in a lot of it. Can't talk. Not in a lot of his films, but like Blood and Black Lace and like Kill Baby Kill, and like a few ads and stuff has great lighting and colors in it also. but nobody like Argento in my opinion. And then just the shot of her friend banging on the doors. That is the reason why the banner for this channel for Argento August has that as the background around Sarah's reanimated corpse, because that is one of my favorite shots in the movie. Just the architecture of all around, and then you see her in the middle of the frame, like up again, banging on the door. That is an amazing shot. So good. Then just the stabbings, man, and then the stabbing, you see the knife go into her heart and puncture her heart. Like when I first saw this movie, I was like, damn, that's some brutal shit. And like I've said in past videos for Argento now, that his first few films was not heavy on the gore. And it was like, I theorize it's probably just because of the times, like the early 70s, like late 60s if you count planning and, you know, directing and making Bird with the Crystal Plumage and all that. But you didn't see that as prevalent. It kind of gore kind of snuck its way in like the mid 70s or so, especially in Italian horror. I mean, they were doing it before like Americans were doing a lot of gore in their movies. But just the way that she's stabbed in the heart is so vicious. It looks so good though. Like it really does. It's not a hard effect to pull off, but it looks just disturbing, man. It's like, damn, she just got stabbed right through her heart, and we saw her heart itself, like not just through the chest and we put in our minds. No, we fucking see a knife go through her heart, and we hear it beating and shit, and then we see blood squirt out of it, like Jesus, man, so good. Then just her head falling through the skylight, and the friend running and looking up at her, and then the pieces of glass falling down. And people always quote The Omen for having the best hanging scene in a horror movie. Fuck you, man. Right here. I mean, yeah, The Omen hanging scene is up there, like top 3. It's great. But this is like the best hanging scene in a movie ever. And absolutely the most beautiful looking scene of a woman being brutally killed and hung. Like, without a doubt. Like I said this in the last video for Deep Red, that he has such a rare ability, Argento, to be able to show and film and light a kill or a death scene in such a way that he can make killing and death seem simultaneously horrifying and absolutely gorgeous. He has such a rare talent for that, and I said the only other person I can think of at the top of my head is David Lynch, which is one of my favorite directors of all time. I've said that many times here, and even though he's not all horror, most of his stuff has a lot of horror elements. So down the road, I will absolutely be covering all of Lynch's films, because I absolutely adore the man. Like, love David Lynch. Like, as a person, as a director, as an actor, like, everything that he does. As an artist with his paintings and everything, just such a great and humble man. But, see, this is why shit doesn't get done on schedule for me, because I fucking thoughts start racing and I go on tangents. But point is, David Lynch fucking rules. If you don't agree, go watch some Lynch or more Lynch until you're on my side. And then just the little detail of when she crashes through the skylight and the cable wrapped around her neck, and how the cable gets shown ripping down the wall as she, you know, crashes through and comes falling down. What a neat little shot that is, to really hammer home, like, this is a fucking big ass, like, tight ass cable. Like, this is, you know, might decapitate her. Like, I'm surprised. If it was made like by someone else, like in the 80s, that's definitely what would have happened. Like, she would have been decapitated, just and just like it would fall, and then just her head would fall off, and the body and her head would hit the ground. But no need, because this is phenomenal. And just the way that it catches her, like the cable just snaps on her neck as she, like, her eyes look off, and like, oh man, one of the greatest opening scenes ever in a movie. And let's see here, and then like her bloody body dripping, and then it pans over to the friend, and we see all the shards of glass that fell, impaling her. Like one's like sideways in her fucking face, and like there's something sticking in her stomach, and a glass in her arm. So good. Like just the hanging would have been enough, and the heart stabbing and all that shit. But mwah, just brilliant, man. Just absolute added bonus that they did not need. He did not have to put in there. But she could have just been her friend witnessed her friend's death, and called the cops and stuff, and had to report it. No, not with Argento in this scene, man. She gets fucking murdered too by just broken glass. And it looks amazing. The effects look so good in this movie, especially for the time period, for like the early mid-70s, and him just getting into like doing more practical gore effects. Like it looks so good, really red, and it hasn't aged much. I've noticed, like it doesn't look aged to me. Like yeah, the Italian like really bright red blood, which I mentioned this I think in the last video for Deep Red, that I usually don't like that with a lot of directors, like Italian directors in their movies. Like it just looks fake, like too bright. But with Argento, it just works because it just adds to the style, and it adds to like what he does with the colors and the lighting in those scenes. That I don't, it doesn't bother me in Argento's movies, and some others, but mostly if I think of Argento and the blood and stuff, it doesn't faze me like at all. And then the music page, and yeah, this is one page of notes just for that beginning scene. Just letting you know. The rest will go quicker, but how can you not talk about that opening scene for a while? The whole look of the Academy, and the characters, like all the characters in this movie are excellent. I love them all, like Miss Tanner and Madame Blanc, or Blanc or Blanc, because I'm pretty sure Tanner says Blanc in this movie, but I know it's Blanc in the remake, which is phenomenal, and I will also be doing that later in that, like the end of the month, even though he didn't direct it, but you know, it's Suspiria, and it's phenomenal for being so drastically different. And all the characters, Sarah and Susie, obviously, and just all of them, like they're such like well played characters and fleshed out, and just like I'll get to some of that, but then I love how she mentions the little detail when the cops were talking to Madame Blanc about the murder the night before with Pat, and Susie just got there and she's walking up the stairs and she said, I saw somebody leave in a brown raincoat. And it's a nice little homage to Deep Red that just came before this, when Marcus was saying that he saw someone with a brown raincoat. I thought that was a cool little callback. And the whole little S, Susie and Sarah, I've heard that names with the letter S are the names of snakes. So then they like spit their tongue out of each other. It's a stupid thing, but it's a cute little scene, I guess. And the whole word secret and iris were the words that Susie picked up that Pat said, because she couldn't hear during the storm, and how that comes into play later. All the dance scenes, there's not a lot of them, which the remake did, correct and not correct, but like added a lot more emphasis on that. But the ones that are in here they're just as great to look at. Like they're probably the least entertaining parts of the movie, but they're still gorgeously shot. Like everything about this movie is perfect. Like absolutely. The directing, the editing, the score, the acting, the cinematography, the sound design, the gore, the concept alone, like everything, anything that I didn't mention that has anything to do with filmmaking is fucking perfect in this movie. Like I can't, man. I can't with Suspiria. The scene with the main theme playing for the first time in the Academy, like after Susie arrives there, and she sees the old woman, like with I'm not sure what it, like a piece of glass or like a knife or like something like that, and it glimmers, and you hear the word like whisper, like witch. Like that's an awesome scene, like that. And I don't know what if the witches are just causing that shimmer, or like I'll get into that when I discuss like the whole things with the witches, but definitely are some questions how this all works. Even Susie in bed after passing out and stuff, the color, just like with the green lighting and the yellow lighting, like simultaneously, like on one side of the wall here is green, and then like the yellow starts coming in here. Like, dude, can you imagine how much time and planning and effort it would take to choreograph all these scenes with all this specific lighting and colors? I know I want the blue to be up to here in the frame, but then from here over I want it to be this color and stuff, but that's just for that 4 or 5 seconds. Then for the next scene I want it all blue, and then after that I want to have red shine in and stuff. Dude, for an hour and 40 something minute movie, for every scene pretty much, that's mind-blowing. Like, if you think about it that way, that is absolutely just fucking crazy. Like, the craziness of a genius, basically. Like, you have to be a fucking crazy, out of your mind person to be a genius, pretty much. And he is both. And just unreal the way that the effort that alone would go into that, filming something like this. And, you know, man, it's crazy. And then it starts raining maggots, which that's a cool little scene. Like, it's nothing, like, I feel like that could have been like removed and nothing would have been missing. Like, it wouldn't have skipped a beat at all in this movie. But it's disturbing. And then how they pan in on the shot of all the maggots and on like this spoiled food or something. I don't know why when I first saw this movie I thought it was a body up there, but it's not. It's food that's spoiled. And I realized that like after a few rewatches after I first saw it, and I was like, wait, that's not a body. I thought that was a body up there that they were hiding, or like, you know, somebody they killed or something. But nope, just food that attracted that many maggots. But again, I don't know it. Those fucking maggots are a staple in Italian movies. And then the whole scene with the sleeping, when they're all sleeping in the dance room or whatever that room is, and it's all brightly lit and everything, and then as soon as they say goodnight to everyone and they shut the light, and it's just hit that brilliant Argento red, and then the silhouettes of everybody behind the sheet that goes around the whole room. What a beautiful shot. And the whole scene, but that first shot of it, the lights going off and then the red coming out and seeing the shadows, awesome. That's such a great shot. So good. Let me see here. Alright, so then why would Helena Markos, right, is the head of this coven of witches for a long, long time, it seems. And when Sarah's telling her story to Susie, which is so, it's framed so well, like just how it's just right up on the two of their faces, like the whole time, just talking to each other. That is when Jessica Harper looks spot on like Snow White. She looks just like Snow White in those shots of being just right up on her and Sarah's face, talking like that, just like her. But if Helena Markos has been the head of this coven and stuff, and Sarah has heard her snoring before and breathing, and said she'll never forget that, and that one night that the directress was staying there, and all that story that she goes on to say, and that she recognizes that there's the same breathing that's behind them. Why would Markos come up and sleep in the room with everyone else? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, is there a reason for that? Like, we see what she looks like in the end. Like, she's no supermodel, but but like, really, like, she would take the chance of just coming. She's got her own place, like downstairs. It's very well hidden. She's got her own little pimp pad with her own bird with the crystal plumage, like down there for herself. Like, why would she sleep in a room next to Sarah randomly on one night? Then sleep in this room when the entire studio is all sleeping in that room. And they don't even say that the maggots are infecting the place. Bullshit. Because they say specifically, Tanner says, after the magazine, that good thing it only came down to the floor below. where the maggots were. So yeah, it didn't go down all the way like through 3 or 4 floors to Marcos's little chamber down there. So that never made any sense to me. Why she would just go and sleep, or just lay down, even if she's pretending to sleep, whatever. For what? Like, what purpose does that serve? Like, tell me. Like, I need to know. It's been bothering me for so many years why she would do that, or like what that means at all, like any of that. I think it's just a way to introduce the character of Marcos, and having the name Helena Marcos be explored. You know, when she goes to see the psychiatrist and the witch expert and everything, that's why I think it's there, just to like show something relating to that before it's basically exposited to all of us, you know. But I can't think of any other reason why it makes any sense. And if you can, then let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear someone's explanation to this. Like, absolutely. And yeah, I just said that. And man, I love, like I said, I love all the characters in this, but I love Tanner so much. And the way that she, like, God, I love it. How she goes off on Daniel for his dog biting Albert, and her just screaming at him, like, and like just getting violent almost. Like, it's just the whole demeanor she has, like, in that whole scene. It's just like something about it. It just really, like, I love it so much every time I see that. And then the footsteps and the yellow and red color lighting and stuff, like this, I can't say enough about the lighting, man. It's just going to be like lighting over and over again. Like, that's the only word in the video. And then we get the scene with Daniel and his dog, which is another brilliant choice here. Walking through the plaza that, I forget what landmark that is in Rome. Walking through the plaza, and it's devoid of color. What a brilliant little twist to throw in there. From relying on lighting and beautiful visuals and the colors and everything for most of the movie, I then have this scene right after that with just no color. With it's just gray and black. That's it. And the only red that there is a little, like, I guess that's like a cross to show like it's a helper, like a seeing eye dog. It's a red cross. That's the only thing that's red, that's a color other than no color, than just black and grays, which I thought is such a brilliant idea to throw in there to do. Like, instead of just making it another like visually orgasmic scene, like just to strip it all away for this scene to make it even more impactful when the dog turns on him and everything. Like, such a clever idea. And then just the main theme again, playing through that whole scene, and then we hear more chanting, and then they show the thing with the statue, the gargoyle, it looks like, on top of the building. Then there's a shot, like a POV shot, and you like distinctly hear wings flapping, like the gargoyle came to life or some shit. But then they show the gargoyle statue, or whatever it is. There's a statue that looks like a fucking gargoyle back on top of the building. So is that just like, is it just a force, an unseen force that is going after him? Or like, are they trying to say that like these witches like controlled the statue gargoyle to come to life and fly by this guy real quick and then perch himself back up on the building? Because I really don't think that's what they're trying to say. So I think it's just more, that POV shot is more of just like, it's an evil entity, like Evil Dead style of like how it moves through the woods and everything. But why the flapping sound, like wings flapping? I don't know. It's such a small little nitpick or observation, but I don't know. I've always wondered what that little shot means. And just the suspense in this scene is just so well done. Like, it's just dripping with tension, and just the fact that it's a blind guy and a dog, and we all love dogs. I mean, we love all types of people too, but just having like two vulnerable, I don't even know the word now to mix a dog with a person, things. There you go. In this scene, and then have one turn on the other. man's best friend, turning on its owner. And just the way it rips his throat out, man, and just the sound design in that scene is fucking unreal. It sounds so good with the theme playing and just the dog barking and the way he's ripping the flesh from the, oh, it's so good, man. And as great as it is, and also that the blood coming out, besides the cross, is now like color leaking back into the scene, which I think is brilliant. Just like as his throat's being ripped out and the blood starts pouring out of his mouth and everything, it's like the reintroduction of color into a colorless, like horrifying scene. So good. But people will cite this a lot as the best dog turn on its owner scene, which it's very great, but nothing beats the scene in The Beyond by Lucio Fulci for me. When what's her name? The blind girl. Coincidentally, both blind. But when she's in the corner and the dog and stuff is trying to get rid of the corpses, the zombies, and then it just rips her throat out. The gore in that, dude. Oh, it's so fucking amazing. For Fulci fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that is one hell of a scene. And awesome effects. But this is not Fulci. This is Argento time. Let's give it the right time to the right people. It's got to be polite. And even the shot of Susie and Sarah swimming in the pool, like, I swear Argento could shoot armadillos fucking and still make it engaging and fucking like gorgeous to look at. Like, this guy could shoot anything and make it look terrifying or beautiful or both, and just artistically, like, so creative. And oh man, he's just a master. Like, there's no other way to describe this guy. And it's so unfortunate that his films just went downhill after a few decades, like, which I said in one of the videos happens with a lot of directors. But such a shame, man, with him that it had to happen to, because fucking master, man, this guy was. The entire Sarah chase scene is perfect. Again, it's just like everything else in this movie. Absolutely brilliant. With the theme kicking in, like I said, how it's always just, you know, it's mostly just that main theme. But it just kicks on, and then like the green lighting on her as soon as she realizes, when she's in Susie's room trying to wake her up and like Susie's drugged, and the first second she realizes that they're after her is when the green lighting comes on her face in the background and everything, which is awesome. And running down the halls and the red lighting, which like represents danger or death. Then she works her way up into the attic where she's safe for a little bit, and it's all lit in blue and like tranquil, and like that false sense of security that she gets, that she might be safe. Like, man, just not even just the visuals of the lighting, just the way that he uses the lighting and colors to symbolize concepts is fucking amazing. Awesome stuff. Then the tension in that scene is fucking phenomenal. Like, it's such a tense scene, like throughout all of it, from when she first realizes that these people are after her, and her whole, like, this is probably one of my favorite chase scenes ever in a horror film. Like, it's so awesome. It's so well done with the suspense. Can't talk tonight. With the suspense and the tension and just the feel of the whole scene. It's just with the music and just the visuals. Like, it's so good. Awesome stuff. I mean, a lot of my videos and stuff of me making funny little observations of stupid shit and nonsensical things, but there's those rare movies every now and then that there's not much I can like joke about or say anything besides like, this is fucking amazing. Like, and this is one of those movies, like, and a few of his are as well, but like, they're definitely in the rare category, and they're definitely two different types of videos to do. Like, I love doing ones that are movies I dislike or that are just fucking ridiculous, but I still like them. And then there's a totally different feel to doing videos like this for movies I adore and I think are masterpieces. Like, very different talking about those two types of classes of film, like, without a doubt. And then just the fact of her, like, the tension when she's trying to climb up the suitcase to get to the yellow window that's colored, that's lit like. God damn it, man! I can't fucking talk. You know what I mean? The yellow lighting through the window, and at the same time as whoever's after her is trying to get the lock jimmy and everything to get in there, and it goes on for a little bit of time, and it really like sucks you in and like makes you hope she gets away. Like it's so well done. Then she doesn't, the barbed wire scene, she doesn't look down when she jumps through that window. And I just said that there's some movies that I can't make jokes or point out stupid shit. Fucking ironic that is my life. Yeah, that's fucking retarded. Like, she doesn't look down. Who do you know who's ever, like, I mean, how many times do you like have to jump through a window that's like a few feet up? But like, anyone in that situation, you're just gonna blindly jump through a window and not look down at what you're, and it's not like she falls in like head first or anything. Like, she is basically almost looking down, like the way that it's shot, and she's just jumps down into the barbed wire. And that's stupid. Like, I've always had an issue with that. I mean, it doesn't matter in the grand scope of things, but I don't know. She didn't look down before jumping from that window into a room she's never been in. She doesn't know how fucking big of a drop it is or anything. Doesn't look down for 1 second. Even when she's trying to get like up to the window, if she opens it, she didn't see the barbed wire. All right, it's getting too long for me to go on barbed wire continuity. But awesome, amazing kill. And then the razor blade cuts her throat open, and you get the awesome shot of her eye, like as she's dying. Like, such great stuff. And now the witch rules here. So they can control stuff, like we see with the dog, and they make him turn on Daniel. Daniel? Right, or Albert? No, yeah, it's Daniel. So they can control things like that to do what they want. And that's why I'm assuming that, like the thing in that scene with Daniel and the dog, that like POVs is just like some type of unseen spell or spear, whatever you want to call it, a force or something like that. So if they can like control things like that, like, and Marcos, granted, yes, she's the head of the coven, so she's like 100 times stronger, but she even was able to resurrect Sarah's corpse to kill Susie at the end. So why do they have to physically kill some of these people? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, who was that killing Pat in the beginning? And then fucking stabbing her, and then hanging her through the skylight. And then why do they have to physically kill if they can just like use spells or control shit? Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't get the rules for like any of this. And I love though how like so nonchalantly, and they sound so serious and convincing when they're walking around the academy on different occasions saying like, oh, it's such a terrible thing that she just left in the middle of the night, and like, no, how she can do that to the rest of the girls and us and stuff, and just the way they act completely innocent and just like have no idea what's actually going on, when in actuality, you know, they can hear everything that people are saying 100%. That's such a great concept. Like, the way they pull that off, and the way that the actresses handle that it really shows off. Like, it really comes off the screen. That you can see, it's like, what a performance that these characters in the film are putting on to, oh, we have no idea what's happening. It's just the strangest thing. Like, awesome stuff. Real good. I don't know why, but when she sees a psychiatrist, I love the line, bad luck isn't by a broken mirror, but is by a broken mind. I love that line, man. That is such a cool fucking little phrase. Like, I don't know why it sticks with me. Every time I see this movie, it gets me thinking for minutes afterwards. Sometimes longer. But what a great line that is. Luck isn't brought by broken mirrors, but by broken minds. It's true, too. And then we get some exposition and stuff for people seeing this for the first time who had no idea what was going on for some reason, that this is about witches. And we hear about Marcos and how she's supposed to die in a fire, and then blah, 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 all that exposition-y shit. Still a great scene, interesting, but this is getting long. The bat scene, when she gets attacked by the bat, which is like a much earlier and superior version than Fulci's bat scene in House by the Cemetery. Like, you could tell Fulci was inspired by this scene in Suspiria when he did House by the Cemetery with the bat, but that was after this movie, and this one is much more brilliantly done and visually awesome and just in every way. And plus, House by the Cemetery has the kid Bob that I want to punch in the face. So it loses on every front. And then just the way the bat's like scurrying on the ground toward it, and then she throws the sheet over it and smashes it with the stool or whatever it is. Awesome. And then the whole idea of her, like, she's such a smart girl, Susie. Like, she really is. Like, I love those type of movies where it's not just your like generic like stupid teenage girls and guys that go get killed like in slasher movies and all the time, but like a film where you have like a really strong and intelligent female protagonist. And that's what she is. Like, she is such a smart girl and humble and sweet, like, and she's so good in this movie. But the idea of counting their footsteps and to see where they lead to and where they're going. And are the cooks, this is something else I thought about, are the cooks and the other part of, like, other people part of the staff in there, like, are they part of the coven also? Or do they know about the coven but they're not in it? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big secret to like like have workers there, like cooks, know if they're not part of the coven. So I think I'm going to just answer my own question and say they're all part of the coven. Because Pavlov, whatever, the creepy ugly guy, he's part of it. So I'm just assuming they all are, because they wouldn't just hire cooks to be there. I mean, just look at the last few days of events in this movie and the crazy shit that happened. Imagine like all the years that those cooks have been working there. Like, they must have seen some shit, man. Are you serious? And then even though it's not a Giallo, it still has like the little Giallo-esque reveal at the end with the blue iris opening the door to their chambers, which is an awesome idea. And just blue iris, it should have been a blue rose. That's a blue rose case, most definitely. Come on, someone's got to get that. If not, I'm disappointed in all of you. Absolutely love that. I love how the main theme slightly alternates in the ending when she's walking down into their chamber, or whatever you want to call it. The melody changes just a little bit. It's like one or two notes that are just higher pitched than throughout the rest of the movie. And it's not like distracting in a way that it's like, oh, it's being played differently, but it's like it adds to it, like it's higher pitched, so it's like this is the peak of the movie. Like, I don't, that's how I look at it. And so, but it's just really cool how they slightly adjusted and changed the main theme. And then after like a few minutes, then it goes back seamlessly into the original version of it. Like, really clever and really a nice little variation on that. Let's see, almost done here. We got the gold lighting when we see the coven talking and saying, we get that American bitch, she's got to go, and all that stuff. And they try to put a spell on Susie, like, because Blanc drinks like that potion or something like that. Looks like a potion, and she does like a chant. Then the entire end of this movie, man, is just fucking perfect. Like, as I keep saying, like, just amazing. The entire fucking, we're going into the room and Marcos is breathing and snoring, or just creepy as shit. And just the shots of the bird with the crystal plumage statue, which is beautiful. The colors on it and everything. I would love to own that, the prop. But unfortunately, it's definitely broke because we see it happen on camera. But awesome that he included that callback to his directorial debut in there. And the shot of Sarah's corpse coming through the door is one of my favorite shots in an Argento film. Might be my favorite. Like, that's why that's on the banner for Argento August for the channel. It's because she looks so creepy, dude. Like, so creepy with the cuts all over her face from the barbed wire, and the way she's holding the knife and walking towards her, so like just unnaturally. It's fucking so creepy. Then she stabs Marcos with the glass feather from the bird, which I think, again, it's phenomenally creative of an idea to have your main character in your most, like, your biggest film yet and your most ambitious film kill off the bad person with something from something in your directorial debut. That's awesome. And it confused me too a little bit saying it. So you'll probably have to listen back like once or twice to get what I'm saying. But awesome. Such a great idea. And then we have the building crumbling down, and Susie escapes the building, and it explodes and burns to the ground. And then we get the credits. And did she kill all the other students though? I've always wondered that. As like a closing thought, like, did she kill the rest of them? Like, did they all burn to death in the fire? Because that's kind of fucked up. Like, that's unfair to them. They're like in there because it's nighttime. You know it's nighttime because they say that they only go down there and stuff like when they leave the premises, which they don't. They go down to the chambers down there. So it's nighttime. So they were all sleeping in there. I mean, sure, most of them could have smelt the fire or been woken up, but some of them fucking died. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that Susie's a fucking murderer. Besides Marcos. But alright guys, yeah, this is almost an hour, so but same thing with The Thing when I did that. I mean, there's just some movies that are just so fucking masterfully made and that are just perfect for me and for so many people out there that you gotta give it its time. Like, it's worth its hour in the spotlight. But I'll have Inferno. I'm not even gonna fucking say when Inferno's coming out because then it won't come up then. But I am watching it right after this, like right after I end this video. So it's coming soon to theaters near you. We'll settle with that. That way I'm not held to fucking anything because I get distracted like a motherfucker. Alright guys, hope you're having a great night, a great morning, day, wherever you're from, and I will see you there. I can't talk, and we're gonna leave it at that. I can't talk. See you later. Good night.